I'm gonna be honest, like as I'm talking about this, like I know it's because the lead of the show is hot. Oh, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. The lead of the show is hot. So I'm still watching, even though I don't like it. Like I just like to see hot people. I'm a bad person. I feel good about this. Hello, welcome to the second episode of I Feel Good About This. I'm super excited to be here. I'm so full of energy from releasing the first episode, which I did shortly before recording this. And at the time of recording, there are 5 views on YouTube, so I think things are going well. And no, but seriously, like I'm very excited. I'm very nervous about the response, but also like very like pushing forward anyways, which I think goes along with how I'm feeling about starting this whole project. I talked in the last episode, and many times over, I have been laid off twice in 8 months, and I'm really proud of myself for not crashing out, which would have been very, very justifiable. And I will say the first layoff, I did crash out a little bit, but this one, obviously more motivated to do something because I feel like this is the universe's way of telling me to figure my shit out. So here I am with you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope we've got even more people for this episode. But if you're looking at this and there's only 5 views for this episode, a thing you could do, which I would personally love as the person behind this podcast, is you could go ahead and share this with your friends and let them know that they can follow me anywhere on the internet at I Feel Good About This Pod. I feel like we kind of covered a lot of the social media stuff at I Feel Good About This Pod. So let them know, find me there, and thank you so much for coming back for episode 2. I hope we have a little bit more to talk about how we feel about it. Okay, so we have reached the first segment called I Feel Good About This week. And the first thing I want to talk about is a realization I came to, which was a tough one, a tough pill to swallow, but ultimately I feel really good about it because I feel like it allows me to move on in a very real way. And the realization that I made, which I'm sure many of you can relate to on a very real level, is that I'm not a hat person. I don't look good in hats, and I have to be okay with that. And I feel like there's so many opportunities for fun, jaunty hats in the summer, but they're not for me. I feel like the only thing that I can do is beanie in winter. And other than that, my choices are really limited. I have one sort of like dad cap that I feel like looks okay that I can wear only to water activities like going to a lake or a beach or a pool to sort of keep the sun out. But it has to be clear that I'm wearing it for utilitarian purposes and not style because I can't be leaving the house having people think that I think this looks good on me. I know that it doesn't. And I've tried for years. As I have mentioned before, I am 41 years old, and I've spent a lot of that life trying to figure out what hats work for me. There was a time, I think it was maybe 2 winters ago, I took a risk, and it did not pay off. I ordered online, which is, by the way, if you already are like a difficult hat person, you can't be ordering hats online. You have to try them on because number one, I really struggle with returning anything that I buy online. I always tell myself, I'm just going to try it on, see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll return it. Almost never happens unless it's a really big ticket item. So I ordered a hat online, and when I tell you this hat was such a risk, it was of the bucket variety, which is like already like, what are you doing at this point? I think I was in my late 30s, and it was like, what is a woman in her late 30s doing running around like some Gen Zer in a bucket hat? But the second risky thing about it, so this was during the winter, and it was like a fuzzy bucket hat. You know, those like teddy bear coats? It was like that kind of fabric. and it was white, which is always a risk for me because no matter where I'm wearing white, I will spill on it. It doesn't matter. I can't be trusted with anything white. So, regardless of knowing all of those things, I took the risk and I ordered it online. And it came and I tried it on. And look, like I knew, you know what I mean? It's like, when you try it on, you're like, okay, well, maybe it's the outfit that I'm wearing right now that isn't really gelling with the look. Like, let me try on some different looks. Maybe do like a fun makeup to go along with it to sort of really bring the look home and really style it so that people see what I'm trying to do. And honestly, I knew it wasn't good no matter what I did, but I still wore it out. And I wore it to a friend's birthday dinner. We all went to like a Chinese food place. It was like a dim sum birthday dinner. And it was like a big dinner. There were like three big round tables filled with people. And I walked in so confidently wearing this fucking fuzzy bucket hat. And I was I did the thing that you have to do when you wear a hat where it's like you're confident. No matter what it looks like, this is like a part of you. Because if you let them see that it's not in any way, you look awful. And so I was like, I'm going to fake it until I make it. And the problem was is that I never made it. I caught a glimpse of myself in the reflection of the window. And it was winter, so it was dark out. I could really get a good look. And it was one of the most humbling experiences of my entire life. I looked insane. I looked like I don't know. I don't know what I looked like. There's no comparison for it. People shouldn't do it. If you're not a hat person, don't take a risk on a fuzzy bucket hat. And this conclusion was later confirmed when I was with my sister this summer and we were shopping around, trying on things, and I kept trying on bucket hats. And she literally, her and my 10-year-old niece literally had to stop me and be like, Jane, you are not a hat person. Hats do not look good on you. And I really appreciate that candor because now I can stop trying. I can release it. I've let it go. Hats are for other people. And I'm just going to load up on my sunscreen and try to avoid that sun damage and maybe wear like a utilitarian floppy hat at the beach because those don't look good on anybody at any point unless you're like J-Lo. So that's really the plan. And I feel so at peace with it. So another thing that I'm feeling really good about this week is caffeine drinks. I am absolutely running on caffeine in a very real way. And I've discovered an energy drink, which I've seen a lot of people drink online called Alani. Not an ad, but happy to be Alani if you are interested in taking a chance on a girl nobody knows. Anyways, drinks delicious. And they have 200 milligrams of caffeine. When I tell you, so I'm an ADHD girl, which I think I covered in the first episode. And generally, caffeine, or what this is what I hear. I don't know how true it is. It feels true to me. But generally, caffeine doesn't have that much effect on a lot of people who have ADHD. And so when I drink a cup of coffee, like I could literally just go back to sleep. And when I drink an Alani, which has 200 milligrams of caffeine versus a coffee that I think has like 80 to 95, depending on the kind of coffee you're having, I'm on fucking fire. In fact, I'm vibrating a little bit. Especially if I haven't eaten yet, honey, I'm on the go. And I love it. And I never understand when people are like, I'm getting off caffeine. I understand it's a drug. I think maybe I'm just talking about how much I love drugs right now, but I don't do them. So caffeine is really the one that is, street legal, as they say, which is the one that I indulge in. And I want it as much as possible. And if you're worried about like having trouble sleeping, I can't really attest to that. I've had trouble sleeping my whole life. So if I'm not sleeping anyways, I better be up with the energy, making things, creating a podcast, having conversations with people, sweating profusely for no reason. That's what it does. And I don't understand why anyone would not want to indulge in that. Also, another caffeine drink that I've just been introduced to this week. My friend sent me a message and she was like, "Have you ever had a Mont Blanc coffee?" And I was like, "Last time I checked, that was a very fancy guy's pen." But turns out it is like sweeping the nation, I believe, in Australia. And it's this coffee, and I'm sure you can Google it. There's many, many recipes, but it's like cold brew or chilled espresso over ice. And then you make this like foam that has vanilla and like orange, like fresh orange juice and orange zest on it and honey. I'll drink 8 of those a day. And this is from my friend who, by the way, 6 months ago did not drink any caffeine. She did like a little matcha and she would have a coffee and be like, "Oh my God, I'm buzzing." She sent me a huge cup the other day of her Mont Blanc and she was like, "Good morning." And I was like, "Yes, yes, indulge in your caffeine. I don't understand why we're staying away from it. What's so bad about it for you?" I mean, I'm not willing to look it up and please don't tell me because clearly it's something I'm really invested in and I don't want to stop. But like, I'm fine. You guys can see I'm totally fine. I am sweating a lot. So I'd love to hear from you guys what kind of caffeine drinks you're getting invested in these days. The more caffeine, the better, higher in milligrams, whatever you're doing. Like, I'm not like necessarily here for like the energy drinks, although I did mention Alani is an energy drink, but I feel like it stands alone and I won't be explaining further. But send me what you like. I love coffee. I love matcha. I love green tea. I love anything with really high amounts of caffeine. So, what are you drinking and what are you sweating out? So, the final thing that I feel good about this week is something that I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to. I am excited about doing more things by myself. I am married. I've been with my wife for like almost 13 years at this point, and we do a lot of things together, but we do a lot of things separately as well. We have like similar but different interests. And one of the things that like I think I've struggled with when I've been employed is sort of getting out and doing things by myself if there's no one else to do it with me and I want to do it. So I have lots of friends who are very good at like self motivating and getting out there, going to, going to exhibits by themselves or whatever it is that they want to do. And I always like will not go. And I've had a conversation with myself about trying to do that more. And I feel really good about it. I want to, it's the end of the summer and I want to take advantage of that because I am unemployed and I can't explain to you how boring it is to sit at home, wake up, apply for jobs, and then just like try to see people or do something that makes you feel like not a crazy person. And I've spent a lot of time waiting for people, but unlike me, most of my friends have jobs. So they aren't ready to go to drop of a hat. Also, like, I'm, again, we've discussed how I'm unemployed, want to try to find like sort of the free things that are going on. I live in a big city. I live in Chicago. It's fun. It's interesting. Things are going on all the time. And I'm mostly just like sitting at home and watching TV and reading. And I'm bored, honey. I used to be able to like justify the fact that like I, you know, didn't do so much stuff by myself because I was working during the day. And so when I had free time, I wanted to see people. And I do, but I also, it's like, I realize I've become too dependent on seeing people to make something happen. So, like, I'm gonna go to a meal by myself. I'm gonna go to an exhibit of some kind by myself. I'm gonna do something that makes me feel like grown up. I'm 41, of course I'm a grown up, but mentally I'm a child. Here are the things I don't feel good about this week. First up, there's a food that I really like that is kind of embarrassing to like, and you don't really want to share it with people. And that food is deviled eggs. And sometimes I see them, and like I know a lot of people like them, but I know a lot of people are like kind of grossed out with them, and I get it. Like the texture is weird. There's a scent to them. And like if someone, oh, this is horrifying, but if like someone speaks while they're eating a deviled egg, like which like, please don't, but like the visual is horrifying. But honey, I love it. Like I love like biting into a half one with like the chives sprinkled on top, the smoked paprika dancing around on my tongue. And I can't share that publicly because people will be like, why don't you like good food? And the thing is, I do. I like a lot of really good food. I'm a big fan of food in general. And I think that everybody can appreciate that there are things that you like that other people may not like, and vice versa. But I feel like you can't go into a room and publicly declare that you like having deviled eggs. It's always something that, like, if you're at like a Super Bowl party or someone made them on Easter, I don't know when people eat deviled eggs, but I feel like those are sort of the two main spots. You can't just be like, oh my God, I'm so excited for the deviled eggs. Let me take 3 or 4. You have to like sort of casually be like, oh, someone bring deviled eggs? Great. Oh, it looks like it's a new recipe. Interesting. And it's like the person who made the deviled eggs is usually not the person who is like declaring that they made deviled eggs, but everybody knows that they're gonna get eaten. And so you have to go and you kind of discover them, even though you've been waiting for them. Is this, am I alone in this? Am I disgusting? I might be a little disgusting. I mean, here's the thing though. I also feel like you can't go ahead and make yourself a Des devil eggs at home. Like you can't do that. Like you can't be like, I'm gonna make these. First of all, I would definitely eat them in one go. But second of all, you can't like leave them in the fridge and eat like 3-day-old deviled eggs. Can you? Is there anybody who feels like I feel about deviled eggs? I just, I think I've been beaten down in a world that doesn't respect the deviled egg. And furthermore, while we're talking and having no answers, and it's just me, why are they called deviled eggs? Maybe that was the first problem. We're referring to them as the deviled egg when they taste delicious, and the devil is not something to be celebrated, depending on the circles you run in. I don't know. I think I don't know if I believe in the devil. And we've gone to sort of a place that has moved outside my food preferences to sort of what my religious affiliations are, which are nothing. So let me tell you, I want to live in a world where I can publicly delight in a deviled egg.
The English word devil, in reference to highly seasoned food,
Mm.
was in use in the 18th century. The adjective devil came to be used most often with spicy or zesty food, including mustard, pepper, or other ingredients.
So any cuisine that is created by a non-white um like culture. So it's really rooted in racism. Deviled eggs are racist.
Maybe
The name, not the eggs
it's
themselves.
because
I
it's
would,
saying that it's spicy or zesty.
yeah, but associating that with the devil, supposed associating spice, which happens in every other culture except for white culture, with the devil, racist. Another thing I do not feel good about this week is if we're to believe everything that happens on the internet, which I don't think that we are. I think that's like like you really need to think critically about what you see on the internet. Like that's like a whole other thing. People are so fucking invested in their self-care, and it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. And I see these influencers, and to be fair, it is their full-time job to influence us to, do whatever it is that they're doing. But they like their bedtime routine starts at 3 p.m. and I don't understand how they do anything else. Like we are waking up we are having lunch. I guess they probably wake up earlier than I do, but they're then doing 1 to 2 to 25 activities, and they're getting home at 3 p.m. and they're like, okay, time to like deconstruct. And so they go and they take a shower and they do 25 face masks. And they do that face mask that's like the collagen face mask, which like you have to leave on for 4 hours. It goes from white to clear and it like is like gives you the most amazing skin. It's like I have those and they are great, but like if I don't get one on my face before like 8 p.m., it's not happening. People are like, you can sleep in these things. And it's like, you actually cannot. I've tried and it was the worst night's sleep I've ever had. And I woke up with like half of it off my face and I was like, okay, great. That was expensive and I wasted half of it. But like the other half of my face was very, very like supple and dewy. So it was worth it, but you have to like do that during the day or like right before bed. But anyways, people are I've seen people sitting on some sort of chair to steam their yonis with medicinal herbs. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't be doing this. And I feel it makes me feel like I've failed. Like I can like you can't have a life outside of doing this. You have to really invest in like becoming this perfect thing that doesn't age into an old hag or you'll fucking die. And I just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. Mm-mm. Can't do it. I'll tell you what I have enough for bed, bedtime wise. And this is really all that I'm doing. I'm getting up from the stupor that I've put myself into on the couch, watching something horrible like 90 Day Fiance or some other, or my wife really likes to watch this awful show called Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, which is, look, I could do a whole nother fucking thing on that. It's my worst nightmare. But I raise myself up after telling myself for the last 45 minutes that I need to go to bed, I need to go to bed, I need to go to bed, I need to go to bed. I don't get there until 45 minutes later. I get up and I'm so tired and I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and then I have a very edited, like, FaceTime routine or evening FaceTime routine. Like, really dense, like toner, serum, moisturizer. That's it. I see people who then like they either start the routine, again at 3 p.m., or they'll wake up at like 4 in the morning and like do that thing where they shed themselves. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. I don't know how they can sleep again in that mask and then they have something covering their face and a bonnet and the eye mask and the and then sometimes I see that they do like a lip stain underneath their little mouth sticker. And I think, why can't you do that when you wake up? It's kind of psycho to sleep with a lip stain. I'm sick of feeling like a failure of a woman, and I don't feel good about seeing everybody do that online. If it works for you, that's great. But I would love for you to come sort of on camera and just be like, hey, and maybe we shouldn't have kids. I don't even have kids, by the way. I'm not a mother, but I can't be bothered. I just don't have enough time in the day. Sometimes I wake up and I find the day has sort of just left me without my own permission. You know what I mean? So I don't really have uh, a routine that I can stick to. And it's just like you always have to be doing something. You always have to be moving. And I've said this on the first episode of this podcast, and I'll say it again. I love sitting. I don't want to move. I don't want to continue to do things. There's always something to do. So these people are making me feel like I need to be doing something all the time, and that is something that I don't feel good about. So the final thing I don't feel good about this week is LinkedIn. I know that's a shared experience for a lot of people. And it's a necessary evil. I'm trying to find a job. I gotta put myself out there. I gotta see what's going on. I gotta check out what jobs are being posted. I have to be on there. I have to be communicating with people. People who are like LinkedIn networkers are something that I'll never understand. I don't know why we had to ruin social media by creating a social platform around work. I'm sorry, the idea of like, grinding and all that kind of stuff died during the pandemic. And I want to share with you a piece that I saw recently on LinkedIn. And it's insane, as they all are. But I do feel like LinkedIn is the place where self awareness goes to die. And so here is a really good example of that. Lately, I've been enjoying a much more basic life. Flying economy just for fun, cooking meals from scratch, riding the subway in NYC instead of hopping in a cab. It's not about the money. It's about remembering what it feels like to be grounded in reality. Over the past few years, I've floated a little too far away from it all. When you're constantly surrounded by success, wealth, and fame, it gets weird. Private dinners, exclusive retreats, whisper networks of power players, it's thrilling, but it can detach you from what really matters. What makes me happiest, I'm realizing, is being around people like my dear friend, shout out, someone who sees beauty in simplicity and who has taught me to appreciate the ultra frugality, possibly even to a fault. But her perspective has brought me back down to earth, and I love her for it. My life today costs a fraction of what it did just 6 months ago. I've sold off so many of the things I didn't need, including a flashy sports car that truthfully just made it harder for people to connect with me, and harder for me to connect with myself. I made a conscious decision. I want to live a life centered around the fundamentals: real relationships, honest work, good food, movement, curiosity, quiet. It's a journey I'm still on, and I'm far from perfect, but I can feel the shift, and I think others can too. Spending more time in NYC lately has helped. Here, no one cares who you are or what you have. Everyone walks, everyone squishes into the same tiny apartments. Even billionaires ride the subway. There's something democratic about it all that I find oddly comforting. My favorite meals lately have been from tiny hole in the wall joints that cost $10. Honestly, it annoys me now when someone suggests a fancy restaurant and expects me to pick up the bill. Frugality is back, and the more successful you are, the cooler it is. What? I can't. I'm sure you never experienced something so out of fucking Dutch as that LinkedIn post. And, I'm not going to share this person's name. You don't need to come for her. But, like, honestly, also the fact that she uses her friend as, like, a barometer. Like, oh, I don't know, like, financial situation, but from context, it sounds like poor or like a normal person. And it's like, hey, we don't need to spend tons of money on things, or like, this is how I live my life. And she's just dragging her friend like, oh, girl, you keep me humble. I returned my sports car so I can connect with other people and connect with me. And so it's shit like that when I log on to LinkedIn and see things like that, where it's like, you have no understanding of what's happening in the real world. No one can relate to this. And I swear to God, if that's your echo chamber, like, just log off. Log off. Because we're all there combing through the BS of LinkedIn, trying desperately to find a job. I love that they're using frugality, which people have to do to survive, as like a life hack to get back in touch with yourself. Like, I've had enough of you. And that's the problem with LinkedIn.
Well, they're
Because,
not going to be real because it's all
well, and that's
to
the thing.
protect your career.
LinkedIn is where authenticity goes to die. You can't be yourself because you're desperately asking somebody to choose you, to hire you. Anyways, I'd love anybody who like likes what they see to hire me. I'm like so fun to work with. Here we are. We're at our final segment called I don't know how I feel about this week. I've got two things I want to talk about this week. The first one is I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I am both watching a television show and reading a book that I'm not enjoying, and I pick it up every single time and I think, okay, Jane, just gotta power through. And I don't know why in this precious life I feel so obligated to finish this television show and finish this book and get through it. Like, I kind of feel like I'm in a place where I am waiting for it to get good on both ends. And I'm not sort of getting there for context for the television show. I think there's 24 episodes and I'm 18 episodes in. I'm not gonna like it. I already don't like it. I don't like it. But God forbid I sort of move on, you know? It's like I like punishing myself in a weird way. And this book, I'm about I would say a third of the way through this book. And I feel again like maybe I'm getting to the good part, but I think there's still hope with the book, maybe. But the show, like I'm done. Like I'm done, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Because I will finish it. And I like put it on and I like start to fall asleep. And so I'll like miss like a chunk of the show and I'll be like, oh no, like I could have missed the chunk where it got good. So then I sort of scrub back to the last place I remember. And then I watch it through again. And spoiler alert, it didn't get good. It didn't get good. And I didn't like it and I still don't like it. And I shouldn't have gone back. But I don't want to miss anything that could confuse me plot wise. Which makes no sense because I don't like the show. Why can't I let it go? Why can't I let it go? I don't know. So I don't know how I feel about that this week because I feel like it's some weird sort of punishing myself that I'm doing. And I don't always do this, but I'm in a phase of doing it. The thing I don't like about the TV show, and actually, it's the thing that I don't like about the TV show and the thing that I don't like about the book. Like, it's the same thing. They're both bummers. Like the story's so sad. And I am not in a place where I'm really trying to invite more sadness into my life. Like when I read, I want to be overjoyed. I want things to be thoughtful. I want to ponder things. I want to laugh. I want to cry happy tears. I love a happy tear. But that's not where we're at with this. The television show is all about this discovery of this girl's older sister who died, and her parents are she's like in high school, and her parents are kind of keeping how she died secret. And at first, they like don't want her to mention her sister at all. And so she like goes and like tries to do all this like investigating, figuring out about like the death of her sister. And I don't know why when I chose that TV show that I was like, yeah, this is gonna be something that I'm gonna really enjoy watching. Like, of course, it's a dark show, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, as I'm talking about this, like, I know it's because the lead of the show is hot. Oh, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. The lead of the show is hot, so I'm still watching, even though I don't like it. Like, I just like to see hot people. I'm a bad person. But I don't know what's going on in the book, right? Because I can't. There's no visuals except for what's going on in my brain, which is a nightmare to begin with. And the book is about you guys. Such a bummer of a topic. The book is about a woman who is held captive in a shed by some gross guy for 5 years. Like these are like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just trying to make my life worse by reading these bummer stories and watching these bummer TV shows. I think we figured it out. Lead is hot, but the book, I don't know what's going on. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm maybe a little broken. So that's it. That was episode 3. Nope. That was episode 2. 2 of I Feel Good About This. I hope you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun getting this off my chest. If you have any thoughts and feelings you want to share with me, are there things you feel good about this week? Are there things you don't feel good about this week? I would love to chat about all of that. As established, I'm chatty and I'll talk to anybody. So I'd love to sort of engage in conversation with total strangers. It's kind of my thing. I hope you enjoyed what we've done. And if you want to continue, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all socials at I Feel Good About This Pod. Bye. I feel good about this. And make sure you tell your friends I'm still looking to make money on the internet and I'm in my shameless era. So follow me.